shop this weekend. So I decided to throw out that closeout tab there one more time.
Yeah.
Jewish. Okay. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to be the wrong, saying the wrong thing.
Better ask them.
Right. That's the thing, guys. Like, I'm the why girl. I want to know why. I want to know who, what, when, and why, because I always want to make sure that times change. When I grew up, we would call, I think now the proper term, again, correct me if I'm wrong, a black person, we used to call them African American, but then we obviously all know that not all black people are from Africa. So we stopped using that term. And then there was person of color for a minute.
Right.
And now I believe, and again, please correct me if I am wrong, but I did ask one of my friends who is black.
Yep. And
she said right now the proper term is a black person. So I always want to make sure that I am educated, because I am technically a person of color, but I am not black. My skin is not black. So I do not have the knowledge of the proper term currently. But I think it changed when we had Black Lives Matter. I think that's when it changed to as opposed to person of color.
Is that one?
I believe, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I never want to be the person that's saying the wrong thing or be undereducated.
Right.
There's always, the world is always changing. It's ever evolving. And I always want to make sure that I am calling people the proper term of what they want to be called. Okay? Mm-hmm. Not because of my pure ignorance, because I literally I can't be everybody at one time. I'm not Jewish. So I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, just to be clear, if I'm ever wrong on anything, please tell me.
Call the bitch out.
Right, because I need to be educated, because I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't know. And I'm not doing anything to like hurt people's feelings. So I just want you guys to know that like if I do say something, like if me saying Jewish was incorrect, which it was not, thank God, but like, let me know that, you know what I mean? And you don't have to do it in a public forum. You can absolutely message me on Instagram and be like, hey, I think the proper term now is X, Y, and Z, or, you know, what we want to be called now is X, Y, and Z. So just to be clear, you know what I mean? Like, I never want to offend people. And for me, I know it's stupid, but it's like, for me, I see, and I know obviously people are treated differently based on their race, their religion, yada, yada, yada. But for me, you know, a person is a person. We all, listen, this is the way I put it. And I said this to Matt one day. If you are dying in a hospital, you need blood. Are you going to ask if it's from an Asian person, a black person, a Jewish person, someone just from a different country? Are you going to ask that? No, you're going to take the blood, because you want to know what? We all got the same crap. I mean, generally speaking, obviously there's some diseases obviously that run among blood, but they're not going to be donating that. But that's besides the fact. So that's the best way I can explain the way I see the world, right? If there's a major accident, I don't care who is resuscitating me.
Yeah, I'm not facts.
Okay, I don't care who the doctor is. A person is a person to me, and that's why, again, maybe that's why I have some ignorance towards this, because that is the way I see the world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't point people out and say like, and this is something we've done with the kids. Like, we don't say like, the Indian guy over there, or, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. We don't point people out. The person with the black shirt, the person with the red shoes, the lady with the long brown hair. That's how we've pointed people out, generally speaking, not based off of their like if Matthew saw somebody who was, I grew up in Jackson, Lakewood's next door. We have a huge Hasidic population. And I would never be like, yeah, the Hasidic guy over there, or the guy with the big, you know, crazy hat, or the dude with the yarmulke. I'd just be like, you know, if I couldn't point it out, that I probably wouldn't honestly say something, but I wouldn't want to like single somebody out based off of something like that. That's just not how we are. That's not how we roll. And it was very different, obviously, back in the day. But That's the world that I kind of want to live in. I don't want the kids to treat people differently based off of anything, because a person is a person and we all bleed. We were explaining to them beans last night, guys. Beans. Let's talk about beans really quick. Kidney beans. We had white kidney beans, and typically we eat red kidney beans. And he was so offended that they were white kidney beans. And I said, Grayson, they're exactly the same as red. And he's like, no, it's not. So I said, Grayson, we have a white person and a black person, right? And he goes, yeah. Are we the same? He said, yeah. You just have different skin color. That's the beans.
Yep.
One has a white skin and one has a red skin. And he was like, oh, like that was the best way. And it was nice. It was nice for me to know that he knows that everybody is exactly the same. Right. So it was just a good comparison, that it was just an outer shell change. You know what I mean? And granted, obviously, like, you know, red beans are used more than white beans, but you know what I mean? There's obviously things, more intricate things in people and race and stuff, but luckily we've got that down pat, and that's further than a lot of people right now, unfortunately. So I'm like, thank God. But if I'm ever wrong, please tell me. If I'm ever using the wrong term for something, it changes, I need to know. I'm not doing it to offend people. Right. I'm doing it because I literally just don't know. I didn't know it changed, honestly. Right. And the only reason we were talking about, you know, black versus white was because Matthew was doing a lesson on, what was it a lesson on? It was something to do with Martin Luther King.
Was it that, or was it Christopher Columbus?
It was Christopher Columbus and Martin Luther. Yeah. It was his whole thing, basically about human rights. And they had, you know, they were saying they obviously have different terms from like books from a long time ago. And I had to explain to him, like, this is not what we say. This is what we do say. It's always changing. You know, you need to ask a friend, phone a friend, and blah, blah, blah. So that's how we got into the whole conversation with the kids, but that's besides the fact. But that's how I knew that currently it was
something on Nigeria.
It was something on Nigeria. That's what it was. But like a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we had this discussion. So I'm
that's
like,
right. It was in your bathroom.
It was in my bathroom. And I texted Trey, but unfortunately the text never went through. But then I went and texted my other friend because I wanted to make sure that I was saying the right thing. I need to educate my kids. Dang. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, see, you know, Bonnie Sue, it's just like, I don't want to treat anybody differently, but that's why I want to call people what they prefer to be called. Yes. You know? Because I mean, crap. Like, it doesn't bother me that people call me white, but technically, I am not white. I am more Asian.
You're more Asian.
And Hispanic, which also, see, me, I am Peruvian. My dad is from Peru, okay? We've always just called it Spanish. We would say, we're Chinese, we're Spanish, right? Chinese has obviously moved to like Asian more. I mean, I am Chinese, but Spanish is no longer Spanish because apparently that was linking back to Spain. So now you say you're Hispanic. And I did not know that until probably like 2 months ago, that now the proper term for being Spanish is Hispanic. And it's me. And I had no idea. But somebody educated me and told me we now call it Hispanic. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. You know?
Now I know.
Right. So it helped me. And sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, no, it's not Spanish. It's Hispanic now. But so I'm like, I just want you guys to make sure that that's what we're doing here. Okay. Joyce, fun fact, actually, Bonnie Sue, really quickly before I jump into the 60% off stuff. This is going to be a speed sale. But I went to an all-girls Catholic college in Lakewood, New Jersey, and we had to take quite a few religion classes. And lucky for me, they were progressive at the time. We didn't allow boys until I left. The year I left, we allowed boys during the day. But we had a ton of Hasidic Jewish women who attended our school, and I was always so intrigued by Judaism. So one of my religion classes had us explore a different religion other than the current religion that we are. And you had to actually go to their churches and do all sorts of stuff. Well, I chose Judaism. I went to a synagogue. I saw an entire thing. I met with a rabbi. I interviewed the rabbi. I learned so much about Judaism, and even for me, I was a nanny too, and I worked for 3 Jewish families. So I've celebrated, it might be Rosh Hashanah. Where's the one where you light the candles, you open the door, and you leave the, lets the neighbors come in and out? Is it Rosh Hashanah?
No.
It's not Purim. Purim's when Purim is different. I've been to a brisk. One of the kids that I nannied, well, his sister, and then they had a baby.
Sabbath, right?
No, I know how on like Saturdays are the day I know that they're supposed to not use electricity, the strict. But I learned a lot, and it was really Passover, thank you. And it was really, really, really eye-opening, and it was a great experience for me because I was so immersed in the culture being in Lakewood every day that I understood why they ate in boxes outside of their houses. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they are called sukkot, Sukkot, and they have to have all of their meals in that. I understood Purim. You drive through Lakewood and everybody is dressed up in Halloween costumes, and you're like, what the hell is going on? It's not even remotely close to Halloween. I think is it in April? I think it's in April. And I learned about Purim, and it's actually when I did my course was during Purim. So I learned a lot about Purim. So it was actually just so intriguing. And I was like, Friday to Saturday, there you go. Sundown to sundown. It was really interesting, and it really depends on your level, the level that you practice, and but I found it very interesting, and it really educated me, and I think that's part of the reason why I always want to be educated, because I want to understand everybody. It's not my way or the highway. For me, it's my way. Right, for me, for my own personal things, it's my way or the highway, right? It's our family's way, and that's for us, and that works for us. But I want to understand everybody else. I don't ask why because I am challenging. I ask why because I want to understand. Yep. I want to be educated in as many things as humanly possible, and I want to understand other people.
So don't say the T. They sleep in there. So sukkos.
Sukkos?
Sukkos.
Oh yeah, Shabbat. I know Shabbat Shalom. I don't know. I know the lighting of the candles.
Yeah.
So I'm butchering but it's Baruch Katah.
Baruch Atah Adonai.
Yeah. And then there's more that you're lighting. And that is...
I remember when we were at Aaron's wedding, at Ari's wedding.
Yeah. So it was just really awesome and interesting and eye-opening. And, now I know, obviously Hasidic is very different. If you don't have a Hasidic population near you, you don't see these things, but they have tassels hanging out of the bottom, and everyone growing up, everyone just thought they were tassels that attached to their pants. It's a freaking shawl.
Yeah.
And I learned about yarmulkes and why we wear yarmulkes, and because, you don't want to have anybody above your head other than God. And I learned that the hats all meant different status among the community and their studies and stuff. And it was just so interesting for me to learn all of this because I was just there every day, and I love it. And I educated myself, and it made me appreciate the religion more than I would have not. You know what I mean? So it could be Mary. I'm a bad Catholic. That's why I don't really identify with any religion, because I am a bad Catholic. I just like to learn about all of them. I want to know all of them. My grandpa was Muslim. My mom's father was Muslim. So I know a very little about, Muslim religion. I grew up Catholic, but it was a very strict, very, very strict Catholic. So much to the point where I've just totally disassociated it because it was not a good scene. And then I learned so much about Judaism, and it's just all super interesting to me. It's so interesting. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get to the 60% off. Are we ready? Are we ready to party? So the only thing that's not 60% off